Well, welcome everybody to the Sodbusters metal detecting live stream here. Got quite a few people showing up in the chat here. I've been seeing a lot of people coming in from lots of different places here. I'm not the best at typing. My fingers don't like to work that way, so I figured I'd just welcome you all when we went live here instead of trying to type it out to everybody. But yeah, I see a lot of different areas here: Oklahoma and Nebraska and Kentucky and California, Texas, all over the country here, Tennessee. I really appreciate all you guys showing up here. We're going to have a good show. I've got a special guest here tonight, and he's going to be coming on, and we're going to be discussing things about the Minelab Equinox 800 and 600. I'm personally more familiar with the 800 because that's what I run, but the 600 is real similar. So that's going to be our topic tonight. So we're going to be answering your questions the best that we can and try to give a better understanding of this machine. Anyhow, I'd like to go through a few things here. If you guys for some reason missed part of this, there will be a replay that will be on my channel, and so you can find the replay later on. But if you want to ask your questions, you'll need to be live here on the stream. So go ahead and invite whoever you know that owns a Minelab Equinox 800 or a 600. Invite them to the live show here tonight, and let's see if we can get some questions answered. I will try to get to everybody that we can. There's going to be quite a few people here, I believe. So if I don't get to you this time around, don't take that personal, because there's going to be a lot of questions, and you guys can always contact me. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me put a link down here for you guys. Okay, if you guys go to Sodbusters Metal Detecting Facebook group, and I just put the link down there in the chat box. If you put that, if you go and join that group, you guys find it a lot easier to be able to contact me there. I can answer questions, and Ron, Rye Patch Ron will be there as well. Very knowledgeable. That's our special guest tonight. And hey, Stratton Papworth, thank you very much, Stratton. I'll tell you what, Stratton, what I'm going to do tonight, I am going to write down these super chats if I can do this and still answer questions. Let me write this down, and I would like you to contact me at outlawmetal-detectors@gmail.com. Oh, I'm sorry, Outlaw Metal Detector. I'm sorry, that's my affiliation for the equipment, and he's going to be on here as well. Outlaw Metal Detectors will be, but I want you to send me an email to sodbustersmetal-detecting@gmail.com, and just send me an email, and I'll get on the phone with you guys. You know, you guys that throw these super chats out there, I really appreciate that, because that really helps keep the channel going. You know, puts a hamburger in my stomach every now and then, and it really helps out. So I would like to give back on that. And so if you want to send me an email at sodbustersmetal-detecting@gmail.com, I will get together with you. We'll trade information, and we'll get on the phone, and I can answer some questions about the Equinox and stuff like that as well. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, you guys, I'm going to introduce a couple of people here right now. Right here is our special guest for the night. This is Rye Patch Ron. He lives in Idaho here, and he's been metal detecting for quite a few years, I guess, many years. And he used to teach people about metal detecting and I guess gold hunting in the deserts of Nevada and stuff like that. So he's real familiar with the Equinox, and he's going to be helping me answer some questions here tonight and just kind of keep an eye on comments here and see what we can do to help out on where people are not quite understanding. And let's see if we can pull up. We got Outlaw Metal Detectors here. I don't see video, but we may have audio. Are you here, Dan?
You may be having. Yeah, he clicked on it and has to fill in the information.
Yeah, he may be having trouble, having some issues. He said he was trying to hook up an old computer. We'll check in on him in a little bit, see if he pops in here. But anyway, you guys, so I'm going to share another link with you. Dan may pop on here in just a little bit, but part of the way that I keep things going on the channel as well is I'm an affiliate with Outlaw Metal Detectors. So if you are looking for any kind of metal detecting equipment or anything like that, this is a small American business. It's veteran owned and veteran operated, and I've never seen more integrity in a business in my life. I really enjoy working with Dan. He's not on here, so I can talk good about him. If he gets on here, I won't, I don't want to make his hat too small. So let me put this link here. And so if you guys are looking for metal detecting equipment, that is the place to go. Oh, there's Shelly. Shelly, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm going to write you down here. And again, for those of you that are sending me the super chats, I'd send me an email at sodbustersmetaldetecting@gmail.com. And we'll get on the phone and answer some questions on a one-on-one basis there. All right. All right. I appreciate that, Shelly. Thank you. So, okay. Well, let's see. I see audio. Let's see if we got Dan there now. Hey, Dan, do we got audio here? No, I guess not. Okay. He's trying. I see him back there. He's trying to get in. So anyway, anyhow, let's see if we can find us our first question here. Who's got the first question about the Equinox?
Metal Detecting Brooklyn had wanted to know whether you're expecting an update or not.
Okay, Ron, do you expect an Equinox update?
I haven't heard of anything. Short answer.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any either. As far as the Equinox goes, the latest one was a 3.0, but we haven't heard anything looking at the Minelab website or anything as of yet.
I would doubt they're going to for a while anyway, because I don't think there's anything serious that they need to deal with.
Yes. Okay, let's see here.
And for you people that are saying hi to me, hello, that I can't answer you because I don't have a place I can type.
Oh, yeah. You're not able to respond to the chat?
Nope.
I'll be darned. I wonder why.
Well, I don't have the regular YouTube channel open, just yours, so maybe that's why.
Oh,
I have to open up 2 screens to do that.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure how that
That's not a big thing.
These live streams are kind of new to me, so I'm learning about all this stuff as we go here. But so John Halstead says, which one of the iron bias does a person use on the Equinox, F2 or FE? Well, personally, I mean, it's up to you. The FE was the original iron bias, and that's the one that I use personally. They brought in the F2 as a way to try and eliminate some bottle caps. If that is something that I don't know that I've really noticed that it actually helps eliminate bottle caps. What do you say, Ron? What have you noticed about that?
Well, personally, I don't use either one of them because I don't hunt in parks and stuff like that where you can use those type of things. I use it in relic hunting, and I don't use any iron bias in either one of them. If you do use iron bias and you get too high, you will miss targets. Because if you set that up, it will cut targets out on you. Anything
you bet.
Above, if you set 800, it will blank out a quarter very easily. Don't always, but it can.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to mask out good targets, and your iron bias, if it is set too high, like Ron is saying, you can mask out those good targets. So I personally try to keep the iron bias low, very low, and sometimes just not use it at all, like Ron's saying. I like to train my ears rather than tell the machine that, depend on the machine to tell me what I need to dig and stuff. So if you train your ears, that's going to be your best buddy right there. That's the way I see it. And that goes for the VDI as well. VDI is only a reference. It's going to give you a range of what it could be, but it's never, hey, that's a barber dime, I'm going to dig it. It's never that way. You got to dig to find out what it is. So depend on your ears. Learn to listen to the tones, and train your ears. And once you've trained your ears to listen what that machine is trying to tell you, you're going to dig a lot more targets that are good targets.
What you're saying there, Larry, is people have to be careful. When you start filtering things out, you still filter out more than you think you're filtering out.
Yes.
You're better off to run your machine as open as you possibly can and do what you're saying is pay attention to both VDI and your ears and figure out what you're listening to so that you know what you're going after. You're going to be wrong because we all are. But when I start on with a new machine, the first thing I do when I'm out there doing that is I'll hit a target and I will try and decide whether or not I believe it's a dime or a quarter or a piece of iron or whatever it may be, and make that adjustment in my head about what I'm listening to and then dig it and see what it is. Most people just dig targets. They don't pay attention to testing or what you're listening to and what the result is. And if you get where you're right most of the time, then you're going to be a lot happier than when you're digging.
That's right. Yeah, it's just learn the machine and I don't know. It's nice to have the discrimination at times, but you don't want to discriminate too much. Okay, we got a Sean Doletsky. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I went to school, but I didn't pay attention. So I paid attention, but it wasn't to my schooling. But Sean, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And what I've been telling everybody, I don't know if you heard before, is for those of you that are sending me a super chat, I would like you to send me send me an email at sodbustersmetaldetecting@gmail.com and give me your information so I can make contact with you, and I'll give you some one-on-one time on the phone or however we can talk about the Equinox and answer your questions personally that way. And so anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Rob's got a question here for you, Larry. He wants to know Rob's got a question for you. He wants to know what the biggest fundamental differences are between the 6 and the 800.
Oh, okay. So with the 6 and the 800, you have the 800, excuse me. The 800 has, I believe, 5, well, it'd be 6 now with the update of the single frequencies. I believe the 600 only has 3 or 4. I don't know what they've done as far as the update on that. They may have 4 single frequencies on that. But it used to be 3, if I remember right. Let's see, what else is a difference on those? You don't have the wireless headphones with the 600, but you do with the 800. So that's a plus right there. I'm trying to think of what else we have.
A little different.
What's that?
Your speed settings are a little different.
The speed settings?
Yeah.
So we got speed setting differences.
It's basically the same machine, just don't have quite the amount of little nuances that the 800 has to smooth things out a little bit better.
Right. We also have on the 800. Yeah. And on the Equinox 800, you have the gold modes, where on the 600 you don't. So those are the main ones that I can think of right now. The 600 is a great machine, and I know people that are using them and they work great. They detect just like the 800. You do have more control over your settings with the 800. You can fine tune it a little bit better than you can the 600. And you've got the gold options to hunt in gold modes if you're out, hunting for gold. So that would be the main differences right there.
Gary Hulls has got a question for you. I've dug a lot of nails, and he wants to know if that's normal in part 2 setting.
Well, let's see here.
I'm up above you a little bit. I stop them when they come by.
Oh, let's see here. I'm looking for it. I'm blind with my glasses off, and I can't see with them on. So.
Well, you're young. It gets worse. You don't see them at all when you're done.
Oh, okay, Gary. Gary Hulls here. Yeah, actually, Gary, you can dig a lot of nails in any of these settings. It's a matter of just really kind of getting to know your tones and stuff. Let's see, part 2.
You're going to hear more nails.
A little less. What's that?
You're going to hear more nails and stuff in part 2 because it's more sensitive to iron and stuff because it's the higher frequency. And if you want to get rid of the nails, discriminate everything out up to 7.
Yeah, if you catch that. Kind of hard hearing Ron right now a little bit, but he's saying that if you discriminate everything up to 7,
including 7,
including 7, you can reject everything up to and including the number 7 on your graph there to get rid of those nails. But
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we'll only work on square nails. Round nails, you're still going to hear find some of them.
So, and what I will say with that is, you can. I had never notch out things personally myself because I'm afraid that about the time that I go to notch out to get rid of the sound of nails, then I'm going to be notching out a piece of gold or something. Because gold's going to ring up at a lower number as well. I mean, you're like a real small gold coin.
If it's a gold nugget, just straight gold, you won't have that problem.
Yeah. So
Shelly's got a question right below his when you get ready.
Shelly? Okay, yeah. Okay, can you tell me if you use the all metal mode, and if so, when? Shelly, I like to use it a lot. And it just depends. If it's a super trashy area, I mean, it may get frustrating. I know some people do get frustrated listening to all that. You can, like Ron is talking about, notch out certain targets, certain numbers that are just a nuisance to you if you are in a trashy area and you're trying to hunt all metal mode. But really, if you're notching out, it's not truly all metal mode. So if you say go to a park and you know that park has been hunted out for a long, it's been hunted a lot of times, if you just go to all metal mode and just dig those targets that people passed up, they're going to be iffy targets, a lot of them are, and they're going to be deeper targets. That all metal mode is going to help you out there. I know Ron hunts all metal too.
Well, I hunt all metal mode, but I discriminate stuff up to 7 out. But I use the all metal, and then I use the ID to watch what I'm doing. Because if you're hitting minus numbers, you're going to have an iron target 99% of the time when you do that. But I turn off the iron volume so you don't hear all that other stuff. I see Shelly's got a question about she tries to run all metal, but it's too noisy. Well, you either have a lot of EMI coming around, too many people, too much junk in the ground, or you're listening to all that iron. And if you got all that iron, you're not going to get through it to try and hear anything else. I turn that's in the pro settings on the second deal on your target volume, and I turn that to 0 so I don't hear that. That's what I do. But I also hunt in two-tone too, so I dig every tone that's non-ferrous.
Yeah. You guys, I see a lot of you coming in. I see Lost Boys Recovery. Thanks for showing up here. Man, I'll tell you what, you guys, it's kind of hard to keep up with you here, but I've always had that problem. That's why they held me back in school so many times, but that's why I started metal detecting. All right, let's see here. Let's see, I don't notch out anything. Let's see. I don't notch out anything or use any iron bias when I'm using my 800. That's Buckeye Digger. Yeah, it just kind of depends on where I'm hunting. I get people asking me a lot of times, Larry, what is the best settings to use for coins? And I really cannot give an accurate answer on that, you guys, because it really depends on where you're hunting. It depends on the ground that you're hunting. It depends on what was there. It could be iron. It could be mineralization, just ground mineralization, hot rocks. I cannot answer that. It's really depends. If I was there with you in the location where you're hunting, I'd be able to give you a better answer of what would be a better setting to hunt in. But like where I'm at, my setting, I don't use just one setting, and I don't even use the profile. Your saved settings in your profile because I'm changing things all the time wherever I go. If I do set up something in the profile, it's for a quick reference. If I want to reference to check, see if something's iron or something like that. Maybe I'll go to a single frequency of 5 or something like that to check iron. But yeah.
10.
You use 10?
10 is the best one for checking iron. It won't lie to you. Yeah, the other ones will lie to you.
So tell me, what would be the difference, Ron? I mean, I was kind of looking into this here the other day about the difference in the frequencies. The detectors used to be, they were single frequency and probably ran 15 kilohertz or something like that. But
they've been from 5 on up or 4, like something like that.
Yeah,
up into the 15s, I think.
Yeah.
And it depends on target size and what it is. Most people think that the machine reads the target. It does, but it goes more on size than it is of content. And that's computer stuff I can't understand, but that's how the machines work. So if you've got a dime down there and a washer sitting beside it, they may tell you that the washer's a dime because they don't know the difference.
Yeah.
And that's where people, they get confused about stuff. They think they got, I was wrong. Well, you weren't, because your machine told you that's what it was. And they can only bring out so much. But your lower frequencies will get bigger targets and bring them up. But if you're not hunting for a huge target, the lower frequencies are not the place to be. And you go into your higher frequencies are for your smaller targets, like your gold jewelry and stuff. That's where your 2 programs come in on the knots. The ones are made for coins. And when you hunt in a real heavy iron spot, if there's a lot of relic stuff out there, there's tin cans that are all broken down, all that kind of stuff. some of it you're going to get anyway. But those little bitty teeny pieces, if you use a 2 program, it's going to hit those, because that's what it's made to do, is find small stuff. I just don't use them. If I miss a piece of jewelry down there, well, I'm just going to miss it. But I don't miss a lot, because I hunt the same spot over and over and over with different stuff and different coils and all that stuff, which makes a difference. Coil size makes a difference too.
So Harry Morris says that his 600 came with wireless headphones. Now, I didn't hear about this. How long ago did you order your 600? Because that may have been something that they just started doing. They may have gone with the wireless upgrade there. That would be nice.
I haven't heard anything about that, so I don't know.
Okay, so we got ground balance. Better to manually ground balance in heavy mineralized ground. I agree. Yeah, that's a question. I see the question mark. I would say so. I don't ever use the tracking. That's just, I don't know. I just don't trust it to do that. I would personally rather ground balance myself and see what that ground balance is doing. And you're going to do that often, depending on where you're at, especially if you're out hunting gold.
That has to be done then.
Absolutely, because you're in heavy mineralization there.
And often.
So yeah, manual ground balance is fine. Well, now see, there's a difference. There's an auto ground balance, and just so we understand here, your manual ground balance and your auto ground balance is, I mean, that, oh, here we go. I see him. Look at him. Oh, there he is. Hey, you guys, we got Dan here from Outlaw Metal Detectors. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, having some technical difficulty, but I'm here.
Oh, good deal. Good deal.
Up on the computer and the old cell phone.
Yeah. Well, you guys, you've heard me talking about Outlaw Metal Detectors and stuff, and I asked Dan to come on tonight, and so we could put a face to who I'm talking about, you know. And now that he's here, I won't talk nice about him the way I normally do, but
well, I'm probably scaring everybody away, but hey, I guess
I took care of that for you.
Just real quick.
But anyway, to finish that, I think we kind of lost him. He froze up there, but just to kind of finish that up, the manual ground balance is done with the up and down, or the minus and the plus buttons on your Equinox. The manual ground balance is done with the accept and reject button. Let me see if I can get this here. You can't see it. I don't have a lot of room to turn the detector here, but you put it in ground balance and hit that button right there. That's and then pump the coil up and down. That is automatic ground balance. So you've got 3 ways to ground balance the machine. Well, 2 ways, and then you've got auto tracking. I don't personally care to use the auto tracking. I personally use the automatic ground balance. If you want to use manual ground balance, that's probably even more accurate if you have an ear for that. And so that's personal preference right there.
Myself, I don't ground balance on regular ground. The only time I use the ground balance is when you're in heavy mineralization. Other than that, I leave it on 0, because I've done both and I can't see where it does a bit of difference. So I don't worry about it unless you've got wet ground. If you've got wet ground, you better check, because it can be bad. But other than that, just your standard ground. If it's not too bad, there's no sense even worrying about that. You have more important things to consider.
That's right. So let's give a minute here to Dan, and I just want to, introduce you guys to him because
I'll be right back.
You bet, Ron. So Dan is over in Oklahoma, and he's a dealer on different types of machines and equipment, metal detecting equipment. And I've been working with Dan now for a few months, and he's been dealing with me just like a real champ. I mean, the guy must have all the patience in the world, but I got to say, it's been a pleasure. He's a man of integrity. I've seen that. That's, I guess that's one of the conditions that I have personally to be working with somebody. But if you guys have any questions for Dan, I know I didn't bring the paperwork down, but Dan was telling me just today that there's going to be a few specials coming on. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Equinox 800, there's a special going right now that ends on January 31st. And what that is, if you buy an Equinox 800, and this is a very limited inventory, so, you know, there's no guarantee on them, you know, especially if you wait, because they had a limited batch, you know, due to production and supply issues and everything. But if you buy an Equinox 800 now, you get free the 12 by 15 coil comes with it. So you get the factory 11-inch coil, and you get 12 by 15 coil extra for no additional charge. And as most of you probably know, that coil sells for, you know, upwards over $200. So it's a heck of a deal right now. That is a limited promotion that ends on January 31st, or while supplies last. I had several I got in last week. I'm down to 2 right now at the shop. I was able to get some more ordered. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that, but I got some more coming. Hopefully those should be in Monday. And I got the shipping confirmation on it, but I haven't got the invoice to see if I got the full quantity I ordered. So it's not going to be a lot more, but I should have hopefully at least 2 or 3 more coming in. Because I tried to get as many as I could on that, because that's a heck of a deal. And, you know, if you can pass it on to the customer, then yeah, I'm sure they appreciate that.
You bet. So you guys, yeah, if you want to, I just posted the link to Dan's website there, outlawmetaldetectors.com. You can go on there. He's also got a phone number there. If you don't see something that you're looking for, you can call Dan. And he's really good about getting people set up over there. So, yeah, I appreciate it. It's these deals don't come around all that often, I don't think. But and here recently, you know, with that upcoming promotion that they're doing, they have the Profine 35 that comes with that machine. And I was asking Dan how that could be, because it was to the point here not too long ago, last few months, that you couldn't hardly get your hands on a Profine 35. But anyway, for whatever reason, they must have got caught up, and here we go, you know. So, but anyway, all right. So what other questions? Anybody got any questions for Dan here?
I don't know if Dan can answer this or not, but there's a Fuzzy wanted to know what junk iron are usually the numbers that come up, and what are gold and silver numbers.
If I go, is this one here you're talking about?
Yep, that's it.
So if I go to factory preset, what numbers are usually junk or iron? 1 to 9. And what numbers are silver, gold, or gold coins? Now, see this again. I mean, usually, like with your equal, you know, any metal detector, when you're looking at the graph or the numbers or something like that, these are just a reference. The way I say it is, if it sounds good, you just want to dig it. You know, I mean, you can, depends on where you're at. You can cherry pick for a while. If you're doing really well, you want to go back and then lower your standards and dig some targets that don't sound quite as good and stuff. But As
And
far
also,
as your
big iron can sound like a good target, and it's not.
well, big iron it can come up and sound like, and I dig some big iron at times, but generally your numbers on the Equinox are going to be from 0 and below, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to pick up iron up above too, and that's what I mean about the VDI being just a reference. Even though it's a positive number, doesn't mean it's not going to be iron.
Yeah, I can say it's 30, and you're going to think you're going to dig something good, and you're not.
Right. But now, as far as gold, gold can ring up all across the scale.
Yep.
It can come in from a 1 all the way up to whatever. What's that?
-2, -3 even.
Is that right?
Yep.
See, now Ron has dug a couple of gold coins. They were $1 gold pieces, weren't they, Ron?
Yes, they were higher, and I dug them with a different detector.
Well, and I asked him what they rang up at, and one of them came in. It was a really worn and thin piece, right?
Yeah.
And the number came in about, what was it, 7 or something?
I don't remember for sure if it was at 8 or something like that, or if it was one that was at 30. They're both of them are different.
Yeah.
They don't come in the same. And any gold, I don't care what it is, can come in anywhere. Your rings and stuff is usually going to be up higher. The gold coins will usually be higher. But if you get one that's not good, that has imperfections in it, that's like nuggets. They have imperfections, then the target ID number will drop. If you're gold hunting, you're going to be digging everything that goes off, because otherwise you're going to leave targets. Gold nugget hunting.
Okay. Well, you guys, here's a question from Tony Culver. Should you order off of Amazon?
No.
I'm not going to tell anybody that they shouldn't, but at the same time, I will say that
I'll say it.
You gotta weigh out. I mean, Dan is available if you call him. He's available to answer questions. If you order from him, like if somebody buys a metal detector from Dan, he's available to call and get answers from, because he has the knowledge of that machine. He can answer questions if there's something that's not being understood by the buyer. I don't think you can get that from Amazon, but I've never tried. I personally I like to support my smaller businesses, especially the way things are going in this day and age. Veteran owned. I prefer to support my veterans, and I don't know. There are people that order from Amazon, and that's just kind of a habit that people do. But
and they're usually
I would rather buy from someplace where I can get answers when I need them. That's the way I see it.
When you order from Amazon, I don't care who hears it. I am what I am. When you order off Amazon, you get your product and it's yours. And you're lucky if you can get any warranty out of it if you have problems, because I've had stuff with Amazon, not metal detecting stuff. You can't even get stuff replaced because half the time the people won't even talk to you. Go to a dealer.
Go to a dealer.
Know where they are, and you get your hands on them.
You bet. So, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, you get better customer service from a dealer like Dan. So, I agree. Let's see here. Question for Solid Busters. Let's see here. What setting, as for Park 1, Park 1, Park 2, Field 1, Field 2, do you usually use? I'm kind of partial to Field 2, but I tend to tweak it. You can take any one of those that you want to and tweak them to where you want them. But Field 2 is what I use a lot, and then I just adjust that to where I want it. But that's more partial to finding the smaller coins and reading coins that are on edge a little better than Park 1 or than Field 1 or something like that. So I like to, those coins that are on edge are the ones that are hard for people to hear a lot of times. And I listen for those. So I'm going to be trying to get those coins that everybody passed over. But I narrow it down because you do have differences in both of those. I think it's like Park 1 and Park 2. Park 1, I think, is set to 2 tones, and I think Park 2 is set to 5 tones. You know, you've got differences in each one that, I don't know, for me, I kind of like to customize them. You can take this metal detector, take it right out of the box, put it in Park 1, go to a park and go and have a lot of fun digging up coins and stuff like that, and it'll work great for you. It's a real easy detector to use. And you can use these in custom or in the preset programs right out of the box, and it will do great for you. So don't be afraid to use these modes just the way they are. But again, it really depends on where you're hunting and what the ground conditions are like to determine, you know, what mode you're going to be using.
Myself, now this is the difference between Larry and myself. I don't use the 2 very often because where I'm at, I have hot rocks in there and tons, and I mean tons, of small pieces of metal. And that's all you do all day long, get false signals when you use the 2s. That's why I use the 1s. But that's me. But I don't think I miss a lot. I miss something here and there, you know, everybody does. Yeah. But I don't worry about the coins on the edge because if, you know, I'll dig iffy signals, but I don't like the constant falsing that the 2s programs put out for me, especially when it's wet out.
Dan, what do you prefer on when you're out hunting in your neck of the woods?
Which mode?
Yeah.
Depends on if I'm in the water, if I'm on land, it really just depends. I don't get too far into the settings too often. One of those reasons is being a dealer, I try to play around with different machines. So my Equinox 800 is my go-to machine. It's if I'm just going to have fun and forget everything else, and I'm using Equinox 800. If I got another machine I need to get familiar with, just so I can, you know, help customers with it when I need to, I may take that machine that day. So, and that being said, like you mentioned, you can turn the machine on and go. Pick which mode you want to hunt with and go, and it does great. You know, it's almost self-explanatory for the modes for park, field, beach, and the prospecting. Mm-hmm. And the only exception on that is some people don't know that you can actually use beach mode, and sometimes when you're in heavy mineralized ground, because beach mode is kind of tuned towards salt water, which is highly mineralized. And then the other thing is a lot of people want to use beach mode when they go in freshwater. Most of the time you can get by with park or field mode in freshwater, because you're dealing with the mineralization that you have in salt water. So, but other than that, I typically don't tweak too many of the settings. I just, for one reason, I'm always playing with them when I'm showing, you know, doing a demo, showing customers. And a lot of times I'll do a factory reset just to make sure they didn't get anything really out of whack. And so even after factory reset, I turn it on, pick my mode, I go. I may change a recovery speed once in a while, maybe ground balance if I feel it really needs it. But the conditions I hunt in here, and most of the time in Oklahoma, it's usually field mode or beach mode is what I use most of the time.
I got a question Dan can answer here. Let's snack up the ways you missed there from Victor Savino. He wants, because you do sell coil tech coils, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He wants to know what are the differences between the Coil Tech 10x5 and the Minelab 11-inch for beach detecting purposes.
If we're talking saltwater beach or
probably freshwater.
Freshwater.
I'm guessing, I don't know.
The 5x10 is, you're going to get almost the same coverage as far as your walking direction. So you're at 10 inches instead of 11 inches. So you're pretty close there. So your sweep direction or your swing direction, you're going to have that advantage with the Coil Tech of having that narrower width. So, you know, when you're water hunting, you're in the water, you can't look down and say, okay, I need to dig right there. You know, you're kind of blind to what you're looking at unless you got some really nice clear water, which isn't the case most of the time. So with that narrow 5-inch width, you got a little bit better chance of getting your target, you know, on your first scoop, assuming you're using a beach scoop, instead of, you know, a nice 11-inch round circle, you know, where that target theoretically could be just about anywhere in there. It's a little tougher to pinpoint underwater because you can't see what you're doing. When you get that narrow 5-inch coil, you know, you're kind of cutting it, you know, in half in your swing direction, and then you get your scoop going there, and you can just, you know, 1 or 2 scoops. Usually, you got your target. I've been in saltwater and deep sand where sometimes 4 or 5 scoops before I find the target, and a lot of times that's not necessarily the user. It's the fact that you're dealing with waves, you know, knocking you back and forth and trying to keep a reference where your target's at. But as far as that Coil Tech, that'd be the big advantage there. And it's not only in water, but also on land. It's just going to help you get between targets sooner and, you know,
Pick them out easier.
Yeah, separate multiple targets when they're in a tight area.
You bet. Well, Robert White says, hey, Dan, where are you out of? I would like to get together. I have a lot of questions.
I'm in Oklahoma, in a town not far from Tulsa. The name of the town is Skiatook. It's about a 25-mile drive from Tulsa.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. All right. I know I'm probably missing questions in the chat here, you guys.
No, we're doing okay. We only missed a couple.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't read. I'm just pretending. So you guys have to, you know, post your questions in emojis. So, but, all right. So, oh, questions have really slowed down here, you guys.
I was talking too much.
We must have got it all figured out. So let's see. I'm just kind of backtracking right now, making sure.
Well, Dan's here. They've asked about the software updates about 3 different times.
Oh, yeah.
Is any more updates that you have heard of coming from Minelab on the 6 and 800s?
I haven't heard of any updates coming anytime soon. That being said, they don't always keep us so much in the loop on software, and they kind of keep us in the dark almost as much as they do the customers, because you know, they have their reasons, you know, for marketing and, you know, everything else. And in the times we're living in right now, you know, there's so much other things going on. Just trying to keep production up with what their current product line and everything is kind of tough. So, you know, they don't just give out all that information all the time. I try to stay in as much of the loop as I can, but they don't let me pry too deep into that.
Well, my dad spent 40 years at Coca-Cola. He worked at one place 41 years of his life. And he told his boss one day, he says, you know, he says, I come to work in the dark. He says, I go home in the dark. And he says, while I'm here, you keep me in the dark. So
that's like working with Minelab.
Yeah.
Shelly's got a question for Dan here, I think, because I think he's been out gold hunting a little bit. You see that?
Who's that?
Shelly Rivera.
Oh, okay. Gold mode tips. Okay, you're going to want to use the gold mode soon. All right. So as far as the gold mode goes, the gold one is for like basic, you know, not too heavily mineralized ground. It'll be okay. But if you get into the heavier mineralized ground, really hot ground, gold mode 2 is designed for that. Really, other than that, I haven't hunted in gold mode all that much because where I'm at is just not something I use all that often. But Dan, what do you say about that?
On gold mode, I'm not in gold country, so that's something I've rarely touched on. Biggest tip I get from people I know that have used the Equinox for gold hunting is the 6-inch coil. Because if you're looking for those tiny nuggets, kind of like we were talking about with the Coil Tech coil, you get a small coil, you're going to be able to pinpoint it and find those small targets quicker. And even if it's just an Equinox 600, a lot of people think it's not capable of finding gold. It is. You don't have that dedicated prospecting mode with the 600, but the capability is there. It uses all the frequencies that the 800 does. You just don't have individual control of the two higher frequencies, which is going to be your 20 and your 40 kilohertz. Those two frequencies are the best at finding gold. Yeah. So the 600 uses those when you're in a multi-frequency mode. You just can't access those frequencies individually. So I think that kind of goes back to something that was early on in the podcast about, or the stream here, that asking what's the differences between the 600 and the 800. Mm-hmm. If you put one out of the box, pick a mode and go use it, with the exception of not having the gold mode, the 600 is going to perform identically. It's going to run all the same frequencies, everything. You just can't pick the two upper frequencies, and you don't have that gold mode to pick from. Then when you start playing with menus, that's where your 800 is going to have the advantage. Gives you more control, more advanced settings, and all that. You have a custom profile button right there on the side of your screen where you can, have that hot button to select your custom mode that you built yourself. And then, like mentioned earlier, you don't get the wireless headphones. Mm-hmm. It's normally not included with the 600. They come with the 800 and the wireless audio module. They did a promotion last year for a short time. If you bought an Equinox 600, they included the wireless headphones, but that was a limited. Okay.
So that confused me because somebody said that they received the wireless headphones with their 600, and I was like, I hadn't heard about that. So you just answered that.
Yeah, it is possible, and some people often think that the 600 can't use wireless headphones, which that's not true. It can use the Equinox wireless headphones. And one of the great things about Minelab is you're not stuck with their headphones. If for some reason you don't like their headphones, there are several other brands, makes, models, even earbuds that will work with the Equinox 600 or the Equinox 800.
Okay. All right. So Lance says, has there been any engineering updates to the coil ears to keep them from breaking so easy? I have 8 machines, and the Nox is the only one that I have had coil ears break on me. Yeah, I don't believe that there's been any updates on that, is there, Dan? I mean, I think that's what it is. But the thing is, you guys, a lot of the times that just to try and prevent those ears from breaking is you don't want to try and reef those coils down too much, because that puts a flex. I'm trying to get in the camera. It puts a flex on the ears like this. Even though you got those rubber spacers, and you do want to use those rubber spacers in there to take up that space, but don't make your coil too rigid. It needs to be, at a mobile, it's got to be not so tight that you can move it back and forth, but you don't want to bend those ears in like that.
Don't be using it to dig with like a lot of them do.
What's that?
So don't use it to dig with or to get up on.
Well, I was going to say the only time I broke the ears on my coil, my Equinox coil, was I went to go and dig a target, and I knelt down and put pressure. I had the coil on the ground, and I put pressure, and the coil, or the shaft was at an angle. And so I put that pressure on the coil down on the ground, And all of a sudden I just felt this. I wasn't sure what it was at first. And I raised up my shaft like this, and my coil was just dangling there. You know, I was like, oh man.
That's why you carry that long shovel, so you can hang on to it.
But that was my fault. And for the most part, unless you tighten those down too much, if you're using your detector like a crutch or something like that, it's going to happen. But make sure that you guys replace those rubber washers that are at where the coil connects to the shaft, because if those get worn out, then you're having to crank up on your bolt some more, which is going to put more tension on those ears. And when they bend in like that, especially if it's cold out, it's going to go snap. So
doesn't hurt to
make sure you replace those rubber grommets.
Yeah, the way to check if your rubber washers are worn out is take your bolt and nut completely off, leave the coil on the lower shaft, and you should be able to pick that coil up and down, just kind of move it up and down a few times, and your coil should not fall off. Just the tension of the washers with the tension of the coil ears should be enough to hold the coil. If it's slipping out, then your washers are too compressed or too worn down, and it'd be a good time to replace them.
You bet. It's always good to have those as a spare.
I had a question right below that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So, let's see. John Halstead says, what I meant to say was how much depth loss do you lose with a faster recovery speed? I don't think you're losing all that much, really, to be honest with you. You're going to lose a little bit.
An inch and number.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but I mean, when you're hunting ghost towns and old homesteads and stuff, you want all that depth you can get. But I try to run my recovery speed really low. And I also, when you do that, John, you probably know that when you lower that recovery speed, you also have to slow your swing speed as well, because that detector, whenever it shoots that signal down and hits a target, it's got to send that information back up, and you have to give it time for that. If your recovery speed is fast, it seems to be that recovery, the information seems to retrieve a lot faster. But when you slow that down to get that little extra depth, you need to give the machine time, so that your sweep speed needs to be slower.
And here's more too, because you got more targets down there. It's going to pick up all that stuff and confuse it. So you're right. You have to swing slower. That's why a lot of people like the fast speed, because they're missing some of that stuff, because their machine doesn't have time to find all of it.
Yeah,
it confuses it, and that's why you get an awful lot of that 14 to 16 number stuff, because your machine's hearing other targets other than the one that it's hearing, and it gives you a different number than if you just had an individual target down there.
Let's see. Okay, what's the best way to test your Knox 800 out of the box? Put it in field one, or put it in park one, and go detecting. Just, you know, what I tell people to do, and this is what Minelab recommends too, because park one is designed to discriminate most the way they have it set up. So the way I say is take it out, go to your local park, and learn what the sounds sound like. Dig every target. Okay. You're going to dig bottle caps, you're going to dig pull tabs, you're going to dig coins, you're going to dig jewelry. But it's going to ingrain in you, oh, wow, so that number and the way that sounded, that was jewelry. Jewelry seems to be, after a while, you start thinking to yourself, okay, so I'm getting a 12 signal here. That's either going to be a nickel or it's going to be a ring. So you dig down to see how close you are to, you know, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a piece of garbage or something. You just never know. But it's kind of fun to test yourself, though, on these numbers. You know, I don't normally hunt with the VDI numbers. I hunt according to what I hear. But since I'm doing the YouTube videos, a lot of people are asking me, well, what did that ring up at? You know, so it's forcing me to take a look at my VDI numbers.
Just reference, like you said.
What's that?
It's just reference, like you've said several times. That's all it is. It's a reference.
It's a reference.
If you're digging off of them, you're going to leave targets.
Yep. But the best way is just get out there and use that. Put it in park one, go to your local park and hunt with it and just have fun with it. Be patient as you learn, because it takes time, especially if you're switching from one machine to another. They don't sound the same. So you may be used to a different machine and the way it feels and the way it sounds. Whenever you switch to something different, it's like going from driving an automatic to a stick shift. It's going to take time to get used to that. Give it some time. Don't get frustrated, and just learn what that machine is telling you. And once you start feeling comfortable with it, then you could start venturing out with other modes and different settings. But keep it basic in the beginning. Just keep it simple. Don't complicate what doesn't need to be complicated, because that machine will detect very well for you right out of the box.
Where most people make a mistake, what I've learned anyway over my years, is they think there's some magic settings that's going to be just, I'm going to go find it all with these settings and not miss anything. Not the case. Everything is different, and it depends on the operator more than it does the machine.
Yeah.
It takes time, and you got to put in your hours, and then lots of them. Test all the targets. When you got a target down there, like I said earlier, test it. Put it on different mode, different this. See what it sounds like. See what it does. So you learn what that machine is telling you on that target. Then dig it up.
Let's see.
That's my advice.
All right. Let's see. We got, looking at the chat here, you guys.
That kind of answers Victor's question about how gold rings, whether you dig this or that. You dig them all.
Yeah.
If you have any idea at all that it's a good target, you dig it, because gold ring can tell you it's a pull tab. It can tell you it's a gold ring. It can tell you anything. But tell you
As a matter of fact, if you look, let's see. All right, I'm gonna post a link down here in the bottom of the chat. If you go down in there to my store, you'll see my merch. I've got a shirt in there that says, "When in doubt, dig it out." And that's the way it belongs. That's how it works.
Well,
a lot of times, hello, Digging Canuck. It's good to see you here.
It's like that one guy, I don't mean to interrupt you here, Larry. One guy put on a post, and he's on a different site, different detector. He's an older guy that finds a lot of stuff. His saying is this, if you're in doubt, you got to dig it. That's just what it amounts to. Because you don't know. You have no idea. And
you never will know unless you dig it. And that's the way it is with any target. I don't care how good it sounds or how bad it sounds. If you don't dig it, you'll never know.
That's right.
And there's been some targets that I've dug that I thought was just going to be junk, and it turned out to be something really nice. So
look for an excuse to dig, not to dig.
Yeah. If you're tired, and you don't feel like digging,
go home.
It's time to go home and come back the next day and start digging those targets. But
I've done that. When you're going along and you're not paying attention and you're not doing your job, just turn it off and go home.
Yep.
You're just wasting your time.
Yep.
One thing I like to tell people all the time, because I get asked all the time, what setting do you do for this? What setting for that? That seemed to really maybe apply more in the old days when you didn't have this little thing in the box called a computer. Now you got a computer and software. It's doing a lot of that tuning for you. So focus less on your settings. And if you can focus more on being accurate on your pinpointing, both with pinpoint mode on the detector and your handheld pinpointer, and get more efficient in your digging, I think that's going to increase your finds more than trying to figure out what menu or what setting you can try to adjust for that particular hunt. The factory settings work great. These engineers, they know what they're doing with the software, the combination of that and running multi-frequencies and everything that machine's doing that we don't even see happening. Let it do its thing. Then you do your part with pinpointing and digging. I think you're going to your finds really increase.
Yeah, you bet. Well, half of metal detecting is just being able to get over the target, you know. You can be in a completely setting that nobody would ever use. You see it all the time. I mean, somebody will go out and buy a $60 detector and go out, and the first week they're out with it, come up with some sort of an amazing treasure story, you know, and it had nothing to do with experience. It had nothing to do with the proper settings or anything. It was just a matter of getting over that target.
I got a good example of that on gold hunting. Guy bought a gold machine that we were going to train. He had that thing so messed up, I don't even know how it was running. And he found a quarter-ounce nugget.
Yeah.
I mean, the machines will save you if you give them a chance.
You bet. So Moosini, I'm not sure how to say that. Well, I thank you for the support. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you're getting compliments on that hoodie. So thank you. So Dan, Sherry Morrell is wondering, how much is the 600 right now?
Right now, and this is something important I wanted to mention while we're on here. I'm glad she brought this up. Right now, the price you're going to see everywhere, pretty much everywhere online, is $649. That is what they call the MAP price. That's the lowest price that we're allowed to advertise at. This goes back to working with your smaller dealers, your local dealers. You know, I enjoy working with Larry. I enjoy, doing online orders and phone orders and everything. But if you've got a local dealer, think of that dealer first, because they're your local guy. They're the one you can always go to. You can walk in, put your hands on stuff, and try it. And they're going to be your best resource. Now, if you don't have a dealer, I'll be glad to be your dealer, and help you out. So I'm kind of dancing around here a little too much, but on that question, $649 is the Equinox 600. That's until February 1st. Minelab told us that starting February 1st, prices are going to go up. That's the case we're seeing in just about everything we do and buy. The gas, groceries, everything's going up, except wages, it seems. So it's just part of the time. Part of the time. So right now they're $649 starting February 1st. The MAP price is going to be $699. So it's a $50 increase. So
now I will say that if you go to Outlaw Metal Detectors to order if you make an order, if it's through me, you guys have learned about Dan and Outlaw Metal Detectors through me, and you go and you make a $500 or more purchase, then you're gonna get a Sodbusters metal detecting hat, pilgrims. So anyway, so there's that. And somebody just asked also if I had any hats left. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And so in order to get a Sodbusters metal detecting hat, you'll have to email me at sodbustersmetaldetecting@gmail.com.
Go up a little bit there. You missed a question from Craig R. He's a new guy and wants you to explain the difference between mode 1 and mode 2 for park and field settings.
Let's see.
It was just up below the question you just had.
Oh, okay. The difference between mode 1 and mode 2 for park. Mode 1 is less conductive. It's for less, how do you say that? Targets that are less conductive. Park or mode 2 for park is going to be for the higher conductive targets. So mode 1 would be, say, for more apt to sound off on maybe some gold or something like that, where mode 2 would sound off would be the opposite way, Ron. Higher conductive would be silver.
Well, the thing is with your 1s and 2 settings, your 1 settings are your settings are weighted heavier for your frequencies from 4 up to 17, which generally covers your coins and stuff, your bigger targets. Above that, from 17 to 40 is your 2 settings, and that's where your gold and stuff will come in, because your higher numbers is more conducive to the gold targets. The bigger numbers also are more conducive, like I said earlier, into bringing small iron into the equation.
Okay, so but we're
Correct, Dan?
mode 1 is for lower conductive, right? That's what
I
you're saying,
don't call them that, because gold is actually lower conductive,
right?
and that's the 2 modes, because that's the higher frequencies. Your lower conductive targets are like silver and nickel and things like that, and your copper. Those are your lower conductives. They're from the 17 down frequency.
Okay.
So
So
you got it opposite
basically,
of what you're thinking there.
what's that?
You got it opposite of what you're thinking. Now, small gold, you need the higher frequency because you're looking at a very small target.
Right.
Where your 1 program might miss a necklace or something, your 2 program won't, because it's looking for that particular type of frequency, which you need the 40s for the gold and stuff, but not for necessarily gold coins, but for small targets.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I've been thinking about, because like I say, a gold coin can ring up anywhere across the board, or any of the gold can really, but so.
But for your average coin hunting, my recommendation is you use your 1 settings. I know Larry uses 2, and I know why, but for your average hunter, you're better. And Dan can chime in on this. I recommend using the 1 settings for them, because that's where you're looking for your coins, and that's what they're looking for. Correct, Dan?
That's usually what I recommend, is start with that 1, turn it on, do your noise cancel, and then get digging.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see.
Nice meeting you, by the way, Dan.
Let's see here. What's that?
Oh, nothing, Larry. We're just talking to ourselves.
We're just talking bad about you.
See what I get here, you guys? They're being mean to me. Dig them all. Let's see. Dig them all, even squeakers. I've pulled some gold chains that were awful sounding. Yep. Yeah, you got to dig them.
Well, you don't ever know what's in the hole besides what you dug up. A lot of people, they dig up one thing and say, well, I did this and this. Well, what else was in that hole? Was there a nail over there? Was there a piece of tinfoil over there? You have to consider everything that Coil is hearing down in that area, and with an Equinox 3 foot around it, because it is very, very sensitive to outstanding noises and stuff.
Let's see here. Okay, this would probably be a question for Dan here. Did Minelab fix the water leakage problems yet?
I haven't had any customers tell me they've had a water leakage. Most of the leaks I heard about was early on, within first several months that the Equinox was out, and it's been out, about 4 years now, I think. And I mean, it all comes down to, these things are man-made. Everyone, occasionally there's going to be one that has a problem somewhere. And that's not, specific to the Equinox, obviously. There's other machines I deal with that last year they had a bad run on another brand and model that had a bunch of bad the locks on the shaft assemblies, and they had to replace thousands and thousands of those. It was a real hassle. And that particular machine was also known to have water leaks. I think it's probably been more instances of water leaks with it than what I've heard about on the Equinox. But I've had my Equinox that I use now, and I've had another 600 I had in the past. I've had them both in freshwater, saltwater. I've never had a problem. I haven't personally seen anyone in my area have one leak. Doesn't mean that doesn't happen. I've had one customer that I can think of that had he bought a brand new Equinox 600, took it home, put it in the closet, didn't touch it for like 6 months. Got it out of the closet, went to charge it, and it wouldn't charge. He had a bad battery. Minelab doesn't manufacture the batteries, but it's it's just there's always going to be a problem here and there, and that's true of everything that's man-made, cars,
I
trucks.
think for the amount of Equinoxes that were sold, I mean, there's been
There's
a
always going to be a
pile.
few.
I mean, just huge pile of Equinoxes that were sold. There was really very few issues like that I heard about. I mean, it's just like anything else. You're going to get a bad one out of the bunch, no matter what the item is. So it's just kind of the luck of the
Make some
draw.
money for Dan here. Let's go to the next question right below that one.
Sherry?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. There you go, Dan. What can I get right now or what kind of a deal can I get for the 600 plus wireless headphones? And she will purchase tonight.
Calling.
Being that, we can't advertise below a certain price. I don't know if a live stream would consider advertising.
Yep.
And this is going to kind of lead me into something else that I might mention. You're going to see a lot of dealers put out what they call bundles online. And those bundles are usually, items they throw in where you just pay the price of the detector, and you might get, a carry bag, maybe a digging tool,
A lot of junk.
things. Most of the times that stuff is junk. I don't see a point if you're going to spend the money and buy a detector as good as an Equinox. Why would you want junk to go with it that's either going to fall apart or you're not even going to use it? So that's one reason I haven't done bundles so far. I am working on doing some other items in. If you purchase on the website and everything, it'll just show everything right there. I would say give me a call. I have some wireless headphones. I have the Minelab wireless headphones. I have another brand of wireless headphones that are nearly identical. And I have a set that I use personally that about a third of the weight of the Minelab headphones. In my opinion, they work equally well. It's a good, solid reputation brand name. And you can pair your phone with them and even take phone calls on them and listen to your iPod or whatever if you're not using it while you're detecting. So I don't want to throw out a price here. I don't want to start a feeding frenzy and have 100 people calling at once wanting that deal. But I would say, please give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'll see what I can work out for you. I think that you'll be satisfied.
Sherry, I just posted the link down there to Outlaw Metal Detectors, and his phone number is posted right there. As soon as you click on that link, you'll see the phone number to contact Dan, and that way he can get you set up. So, okay, let's see here.
Another question right below that one, a couple down. There you go.
Could you explain a good signal? Is it a signal that's clear, 180 degrees around the target, non-broken, constant VDI, etc.? That would be textbook. That's a textbook good signal. I wouldn't pass up signals that don't give you the 180 degrees if it sounds good. I mean, if it sounds good in a couple, I dig them if they sound good. Even if I turn, I know that there's been people that have said that if you take the Equinox 800, the way that you tell that it's a junk signal is if you get a good signal this way and then you turn 90 degrees and you hit it again and it's cuts out on you, it's always a bad signal. I disagree. That's not the case. There's times where that will be the case, but that is not how you determine what is a junk target. A good signal will be, a clean sounding signal, and you're going to learn this over time as you train your ear. And this is not just with the Equinox. This is with all detectors. You got to train your ear to what that detector is telling you. But yes, it'll be a clean sounding, steady sounding signal. But if you're hearing say you get a high tone within a bad sounding signal, that just could possibly mean that you have a good and a bad target in the same hole. A lot of times you will have, if it's a building that fell down 100 years ago, you could have square nails, and there may be a wheatback or a Indian head penny or something like that in that hole with those nails. So you may hear that, you may hear what sounds like a bad target, but then again, you'll hear a blip in there that sounds like, well, there's something good there too. So you got to train your ear for those things, and you only get that experience by digging the targets that you hear. So it's hard to say. I mean, good targets are, everybody's after the good targets, but
That's what
if
it
you
sounds
want
like
to find what everybody else missed, you got to dig the not so good targets too.
So when you get that clean signal in your house or wherever you're testing your coin, that's what a good signal sounds like, but it doesn't mean that that's what it is.
Right.
Like you're saying. You
guys can try some air tests and stuff. You can set your coil up there in your house and put your detector on the table, and air tests are not going to be accurate according to what, it's not going to be the same as what you're going to run into hunting naturally, because you don't have that mineralization and stuff. But you can give yourself an idea. Like I've got all these things here. These are different coins and stuff that I found. You know, there's a, I can't, you know, Standing Liberty quarter, and I can't, but take these things and just wave them in front of your coil, you know, and see what it sounds like. Say this one's a quarter here. On the Equinox, that should ring up about 30, you know. But then just take a variety of coins. They could be modern coins, they could be old coins, it doesn't matter. Just run them across and get an ear for what they sound like. And then you can take a look at the VDI graph, you know, take a look at your VDI, see what it's ringing up at. And that way, when you get out there in the field, you can kind of have an idea what to expect. And so, okay, so that sounded like that. That was a really high pitched, you know, and depends on what you're hunting in too. You may be hunting in 2 tones. You may be hunting in 5 tones. If you hunt in 50 tones, you're braver than I am. So, but a lot of people like 50 tones. They say they get more information out of it. I find it confusing.
Overwhelming.
But
plowed wet ground in 50 tones is just a blast.
Oh yeah. So yeah, test these things out at home, you guys. You can take coins that you have in your house right now and just wave them across the coil and see what they ring up at, and listen to what they sound like before you go out in the field. And that way, when you hear that sound and that number pops up, then it's like, oh, well, maybe that's the same coin that I waved in front of my coil. And you dig down, and pretty soon you're learning as you go, and it's going to take time to learn all that.
And don't forget to test your jewelry also, because
that's right.
Small rings are going to ring up different than bigger rings. Necklaces,
rings.
All that stuff is going to sound way different on the size, you know, silver ring and a gold ring, you know, so make sure you at least expose yourself to that a little bit so you don't overlook that, because those, you know, I think a lot of people miss those kind of targets because they only do their air tests with coins and pull tabs, and they don't think about rings and jewelry as often.
Well, they all want that pure target that says, dig me up because this is a good signal, and that isn't how this works, as you well know.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to have to get off of here. I got to go take care of, and I got to be there in about a half hour.
Yeah.
Let me leave you with a real quick story. I think everyone will enjoy. So I got a call. This has been a couple of months ago, asking for a ring recovery. Said, you know, can you help us, or can you rent us a machine or whatever so we can find this wedding ring? I said, well, I was tied up, but one of our club members I knew would be available. I called him, and he said, yeah, I'd be glad to go check it out. So he goes out there, and it's in this nice big field. The woman lost her wedding band. So he goes out there with his detector and he's searching all around and didn't have much luck. So he had a nice big gold ring on his finger. It's one of his best finds that she had mentioned it's about that size. He says, okay. So he pulls that off his finger, tosses it down on the ground to run his coil over to see what it's ringing up. He's getting that signal, you know, he's like, okay, that sounds good. And then the signal disappears. He's like, what the heck? Thinking something was wrong with his machine. Well, he sets the machine aside, goes to pick up his ring, pushes the grass aside, and there's a snake hole. He tossed his ring straight in a snake hole. And he's like, you got to be kidding me. He dug down a little bit, couldn't find it. It got so deep he couldn't find it with his detector.
Jeez.
So he had another guy with him. They dug down about 3.5 feet deep that day, never found his ring.
Oh my goodness.
We went back here about 2 weeks ago to the same site. Had 3 guys. They dug down to about 6.5 or 7 feet deep. He has still not found that ring. So I don't know what kind of hole it was, if it was a snake or some other critter. I wonder.
Ran with it.
It might
Well,
be.
you know, like wild turkeys will grab shiny stuff. And I shot a wild turkey one time up here in Idaho, and it had a silver dime. It was 1964 silver dime in the, you know, the gullet, I guess they call it. There was a silver dime in there. Who needs to go metal detecting? Just follow the turkeys, you know?
I guess I can just, one day some groundhog is going to pop up, you know, wearing his ring, I guess. But anyhow, so that's a good tip. If you're going to test your own jewelry, make sure there's no holes on the ground first.
Yeah.
But hey, I've enjoyed being on here. Unfortunately, I got to get going though. If anybody has any more questions or anything, my number there is right there on the website. Feel free to give me a call. I'll do what I can to help you out, and see you on the next one.
All right, Dan. Thanks for coming on here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, take care, Larry. I'll see you later.
A good evening.
Take care, Dan. Thanks. Nice meeting you.
All right. So now we're feeling lonely now. We're down to 2 here. But
I'll shut up so you can talk then.
Yeah. So Shelly had a question here. Is it true that if you're over an aluminum can or foil, if you hold your coil high and it's going off, it's junk? You can tell that it's a big target by doing that. Yeah, if you swing up, you keep raising your detector up like that, then that's going to be, it's not a coin. So it's probably not a ring either. So yeah, it's usually going to be like an aluminum can or something like that, something big. But so that's a good way to test something like that. Let's see here. Okay, how many sounds are included in the factory preset mode? I'm not exactly sure I understand that question. Factory preset is just to set the detector back to what the factory had shipped it to you in, all the modes that the factory had it in. I don't know that there's any sounds involved.
You might be referring to the tones, like 2, 5, or 50, and that depends on your program.
Oh, yeah, it does. If you're talking about how many tones per mode, then yeah, it varies. I think like Park 1, I think has
5.
Is it 5?
Yeah.
And then I think Park 2 is 2 tones or something, isn't it? I don't know.
I can't remember for sure, but Field 1, I believe, is 2 tones. I think it is anyway. But you know, you just have to go in and look. It's on your manual. It'll tell you there too.
Each mode is set up differently with different, and you can adjust those however you want to. You can customize them however you want. If it's set up with 50 tones and you don't want to listen to 50 tones, you can bump that down to 5 tones or 2 tones or whatever you want to do there. So
a lot of people don't understand that too, Larry, that just because that program is set up on say 50 tones, you do not have to leave that there.
Nope. You can adjust any of those modes that you want to. So And then if you don't like what you've set up, you do not have to, excuse me, you do not have to factory preset. Let's say you have, well, when they tell you you can save 8 programs in your Minelab Equinox, that confused me for a while. I'm like, well, they only have one profile mode there, but you can only save one mode. You can only save one settings there, you know? And so I was kind of confused about that until I realized each mode, when you go into, say, Park 1, if you make an adjustment in there, whatever adjustment you make in Park 1, it will be saved all the way until you change it again or until you do a factory preset. And it's that way with any of those. So if you go to Park 1, Park 2, Field 1, Field 2, Beach 1, Beach 2, and so on, then if you have those modes set up the way that you want them, those are saved programs that you can go back to at any point in time, click on, say, Field 1 or Field 2, and it will be right where you left it the last time you used the metal detector. And you can adjust it as many times as you want to, and it will save the last settings that you put into that detector. Now, if you want to just, let's say that you want to clear a program and you want that program to go back to the factory preset, you do not have to erase all of your modes to do that. Let me see if I can show you here.
You just go to that program and then hold it down while you're on that program and it'll reset.
Yeah, you just, okay, you got your search coil here, the search mode button. You can go to the mode that you want to go back to factory preset. Let's say it's Field 1. Put it in Field 1, be in the search mode, and then hold down that search coil button. And I think it's for probably about 5 seconds. And pretty soon that will reset that particular mode without touching any of your other modes. So you don't have to get rid of all your settings if you want a factory preset just one mode.
And it'll come up FP when you got that done, so you know it's done. Then just take your thumb off and you're ready to go.
Yep. And then you're back to square one. You can go ahead and you can set up, you know, make some more changes if you want to. You can't hurt the Equinox. You can play with those settings all day long, and you're not going to mess up anything. Don't be afraid to play with it. So, okay. Since I switched from 5 tones to 50, my silver coinage increased. So I'd be interested to, why do you think that is? Is it just you're getting more information, you think, to your ear? That
less information.
Oh boy, it's a lot. It's a lot to listen to.
You're getting less information so you can hear what you're listening to better.
Yeah.
50 tones is tough. It can be done, and it does work well. But
yeah, there's people doing it
for what's coming.
Let's see here. Okay. In Field 2, do you lower your recovery speed below 4? I keep mine at 5 or 6, but was curious what you set yours at in your area. I'll tell you what, Thomas, a lot of times I'll drop it right down to 1. Right down to 1 and just slow down. It just depends on your area, you know, what you have in the ground there too. So you're in very mineralized soil around home sites. And you probably got a lot of clay there too, huh? But yeah, I don't know. I don't really like to go above 4, to be honest with you. I feel like you're just losing out unless you're in a clay layer where your targets aren't going to sink below that clay layer. And maybe that clay layer is not that deep. I don't know. But where I hunt here in Idaho, I personally like to keep my recovery speed as low as I possibly can, like 1 or 2. So
It depends on a lot of things. Like if you got a lot of junk in the ground and stuff, it's harder when you hunt like Larry does. And you got to have experience to be able to do that, to be able to sort out the targets while you're looking for targets, because you're going to hear everything that's in the ground, including mineralization. Myself, I usually don't go below 3 for in the spot that I'm hunting, because there is a lot of junk, and it's just hard to get past that. And I will go as high as 6 when I'm in a spot where I know I'm not going to get any deeper than 3 or 4 inches. Because there are places out where I hunt in the spot that I'm hunting in. I guarantee you, if you get below 3 inches, you got lucky, because I mean there's targets out there below that. There's spots in there that's so thick with iron you ain't getting below that.
yep, very true. I mean, you can have good targets right next to that iron, and a lot of times that iron's going to mask out your good targets. So you just never know. Sometimes you have to dig the trash to get to the treasure, but you just don't know until you do that, you know.
This one area that I hunt, I know you can fill the back of a pickup up with the junk that's in this one spot. I mean, there's a lot. It's just what I call machine gun iron. When you swing your coil, it goes back, 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 back on every one. And if you hunt with a frequency like Larry did with one, you're not going to find anything unless it's laying around on top of the ground. You still might miss it. Because you want to see how well your machine does, throw something down on top of the ground over top of some iron and see if you can hear it. If you can't, then you know you ain't going to find it.
Yeah.
Test stuff. Always test things. That's my biggest thing I tell everybody. Larry's got ideas. I got ideas. Well, check them out. See who works. See what works for you.
Exactly.
It's different than where I hunt. And, you know, you got to see what you can do with your machine and what you're capable of. Maybe way better than me.
You can notch out iron signals. The factory settings normally do until you hit the all metal mode. They notch out what would be normally your iron signals, but like we discussed earlier, if you run across a piece of maybe an old stove door or something like that laying out there, it doesn't even have to be that big. It could sound off just like a beautiful target. It's like, I'm digging that. And you dig down, and here you got yourself a big old chunk of flat iron, you know.
Horseshoes are real great.
What's that?
Horseshoes are great. They sound real good.
Yes, they do. I dig a lot of horseshoes, and I kind of like them, though. I keep them.
I've dug about 150 of them in this spot I'm in.
Yeah. But yeah, you can notch out whatever you want to. If you've got signals. Oh, we got somebody. Let's see. Well, hello there, mister.
Hey, I'm back.
You're back. You know, I was getting lonely too. So
I was irritating.
But anyway, you can notch out whatever you want to. And let's say you're looking for something specific. Let's say that somebody lost a diamond ring and it's made out of white gold. Well, Dan, hey, tell that story about those earrings. This is a prime example of how you can notch out. Well, I don't know if you notched out. I think you probably did, but
yeah, hang on one second. I can hear you, but it's not loud enough.
Dan's got a great story of a lady that lost some jewelry, a piece of jewelry, and I don't know. Once he gets set up here, I want him to tell the story because it's really neat.
Oh, is this the earring you were asking about? Okay, yeah, that was last summer. It was another jewelry recovery customer. They called, and it was the day after the 4th of July. It was the 5th of July, which was technically a holiday. And they said, "Are you open?" I said, "Well, not really, but what did you need?" They told me the story. They lost an earring, and they really had to find it, and they wanted to see if they could get a machine from me to find it. And I said, "Yeah, I'll help you out. Come on out." So they show up, and it was actually the caller's parents that showed up, And I was thinking, you know, just some kids lost an earring. There was a younger guy that made the phone call. They show up, and it's an older couple, and she shows me the matching earring, and I was like, well, okay, I see why it's urgent that you find this earring. It was a big diamond earring, not a lot of metal on it, you know, just the backing. And I said, well, that's going to be a tough find. And she's like, okay, well, whatever it takes. Do you have a one of those Minelab 7000s, or do you have that machine they use on Oak Island? I said, well, that's overkill for what you're doing. She's like, well, that'll won't. I said, yeah, but these other machines will too. And so she came in the shop, and I showed her a few machines, and was setting it up for them, you know, and scanning her the matching earring, you know, so she would know exactly what signal to look for. And I could tell they just had a lot of this look in their eye, like they just weren't real sure about things. And so I paused and I said, this is all you're wanting a machine for, right? Is just to find this earring? She's like, well, yeah. I said, you don't have any interest in metal detecting after this? She said, no. I said, oh, well, how about I just grab some detectors, throw them in the truck, follow you out there, and help you find it. And she went crazy. She said, oh my God, that'll be perfect. So I take 5 detectors. I take a friend with me. We get out there. Her family's already out there still looking for it. I put a detector in everybody's hands that I possibly can. And she goes, well, do you have another one that I can use? And I said, well, I've got one more in the truck, but it's a more complicated machine. I said, here, you take and use this one. And it's already set up. We set it up back at the shop. And I said, it's already set up for you. You know what to look for. And I'll go grab the other one out of the truck. As I'm walking back from the truck with another detector, hadn't even turned it on and set it up yet, she screams like, you know what, falls to the ground and just starts sobbing. And I was like, she must have found it. And sure enough, I walk over there and she had found it. The backing was still on the earring. So what she had done is when she had put it on, she never hit the hole in her ear. She just put the earring onto the backing and just clamped it basically to the edge of her earlobe and didn't realize it.
Oh boy.
Without that backing, it would have been a lot tougher find. But so what we had done though was, you know, like I said back in the shop, we scanned that earring over and it was reading low. I mean, it was if I remember right, I think it was a 3 and a 4 was the most number we were getting on it. And I said, you know, most days I would skip over that target, you know, all day long. And knowing what we were looking for, though, we had it set for that, and she found it. And I never asked her what the earring was worth. She had had it over 30 years, and I knew it was important to her.
You bet.
So it wasn't my business, and I didn't, you know, I just thought it might be kind of rude to actually ask the value. But I realized who they were, though, after we were talking a little bit. And I was like, oh, they're that family. It's a family that Tulsa has several buildings named after.
Oh, wow.
They probably, you know, a very good percentage of the city, especially commercial property. And I was like, and she's like, what do we owe you? And I said, not a thing. I'm just glad you got it. I could tell what it's worth to you, and that's all that matters. And but I looked at that earring, and I got a picture of it somewhere. I don't have it available right now, though. But the diamond on that thing was at least as big as the fingernail on my little finger. I mean, it was big. It had to been, my best guess was at least 8 carats. At least.
Man. I can't even eat 2 carats.
Yeah, I looked at a chart that day on sizes of diamonds, and just an average one in that size and everything was, it was, you know, very high 5 figures, if not 6 figures, just for the diamond itself, nothing else included. And she had 2 of them.
Man.
So I could imagine they were probably, you know, really desperate to get those earrings back. And
but that's a prime example. I mean, that right there, see, she had the other earring, So they were able to determine, okay, this is reading in at 3, 4, whatever the VDI number was. If you want to, and you're looking for a specific target, you can notch everything else out and just say, keep the 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that, because you know that that's what that target was ringing up at.
I notched out
everything because you don't want to hear anything else but that specific target, and then go and try to recover that target.
It's very fine gold it was made with.
I think I notched the thing above 12, I think is what we did.
It was very fine, pure gold that was backed with holding that diamond.
Yeah.
But basically, you were hunting for a gold nugget.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an awesome story. So, metal detecting with CZ Kid. I used the 10x5 coil today in an iron infested site. Finally introduced some bias to stop the nails. Got 5 wheats and some other small items. Well, that's awesome. Good deal. Good deal. Anytime you're hunting iron, when it's infested iron like that, when you can pull some good targets out of there, that's definitely a plus. All right. Okay, so the only place the Knox 800 beats the CTX 3030 is the Knox is lighter. The CTX 3030 is better on depth, tones, recovery, and battery life. I don't know. I guess that'd be a matter of opinion, but
I have one, but I'll keep it to myself.
3030 is a good machine. Starting to show its age. It's been around a long time. It is heavy. I don't consider it a machine I would want to put in a beginner's hands for sure. I kind of, and this is all speculation, I don't have any, Minelab secrets or anything. The E-Track, the Safari are no longer available. I'm kind of wondering if Minelab hopefully will come out with a newer model to replace those two and possibly the 3030. So maybe it'll be, lighter, better. I mean, who knows? I know they do have new machines already developed, ready to start production on. Whether they have started production, I don't know. But I know, they're not, scratching and digging, trying to find find out something new to do. They already have all that in the works. So I would.
3030 is an excellent machine, but
what's that?
3030 is an excellent machine, but it sucks in heavy iron. I mean, I run one for years. I ran one since the time they came out, and there's places that I would much rather use my 3030 than I would any other machine, but it's only in certain places. What I've learned over my years, and of course everybody's different, is there's a tool for every job.
Yep.
And depending on where you're hunting, which tool you want to reach for. Now, if I'm going to go hunt some guy's nice yard that's looking for something, I will take my 3030 if it's not junked up, and I'm looking for a specific target because it is a good machine, and it's very good at target ID and stuff, better than what I believe the Knox is. But the Knox is a cheaper machine by a bunch, and the 3030 technology is getting old, and pretty soon they won't work on them like they do the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, they'll take different machines with them on a hunt. I know Ron does that a lot too. He'll take a couple of different machines out to a place, and he'll go over his hunt area with one machine, and then later on go back over it with another machine to see what he's missed.
And change coils.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different variables that take place. I mean, everything is different. And I truly believe that even within the machines, even though it's the Equinox 800 and you've got 10,000 of them manufactured, I think there's probably a little bit of variance in each one of those as well.
Electronic.
It's electronics, but I don't know.
I seen that a lot when we were working with the gold machines. From 3 or 4 years difference from this machine to this machine, there was some differences on how well they performed. Not a lot, you know, you had to be good in order to see this. Your average person is not going to see it. It takes somebody that's doing that knows what they're doing to be able to tell the difference, but you can definitely tell.
You bet. You bet. All right. So let's see what we got here. What am I missing? Yes, that's a very good idea. New users can make a test garden with everything in it so they can see what some of the targets will sound like. A lot of people do that. You can make simple test gardens out of a tub, or like a tub and PVC tubes. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can, put your coins in a plastic container. Can't ever get my camera right here. You can put them in a plastic container of some sort and then bury them. And just bury them at different depths. And over years, there's some people that I've known that's had test gardens for years. And just like gravity works, those test gardens tend to get deeper too. And sometimes with wind erosion, it can either create depth or take away depth as well. So, but you've got an idea of an average depth with a test garden that, you can make yourself a little map that you keep somewhere to tell you how deep one coin is or whatever. And whenever you get a new machine, it's a great way to see what what the capabilities are of it. So it's a really good thing to do. Everyone had their comfort machine. I use 2 on outings whenever possible. Many can compete with me and my T-John. I guess I haven't heard of that. I'm not familiar with that one. Yep, tool for every job.
I think you're pretty well caught up there from what I've seen on questions.
Yeah, I think so. But he's got a good point here on the halo effect. And for those of you that wonder about the halo effect, that's just where a target is laid there for so many years that some of the minerals of that target has leached out around the target and created a halo there. And so when you disturb that kind of goes, you disturb that halo, it goes away. But yeah.
Mineralization could actually just make a target down there that's not there. You get a piece of iron that sits there and is rusted away. Next thing you know, you got a target and you dig it up and it's gone. You can't find it. And that's all it was.
Just a disintegrated target.
Just a halo effect.
But
and people throw out hot rocks and think they can't find their signal because all they found was a rock.
Yeah.
And it's a rock.
Shelley, I got that fold and go, and I do like it. That is a neat invention. And I'll tell you, the inventor, he's kind of a neat guy too. His name is Dan. He's right here on the chat. But I got that fold and go. It is very simple to use. And if you're traveling or something, it's a great way if you don't want to disassemble your Knox or whatever. And the fold and go is not just for the Equinox. You can use it. He's got, I don't know, how many different machines you have that for, Dan?
I make it for the Equinox, most of the Garrett machines, all of the Ace series, including the new Apex, AT Pro, AT Gold, AT Max, even for some of the Fisher and Technetics machines, it'll work on that as well. There's only a few that I've actually tested on with Fisher and Technetics. I just don't get my hands on those machines often enough to be able to test it and and do the installation on it to make sure that would work. But on the others, it definitely works pretty well.
You bet. No, I like it. So, but well, you guys, it looks like we've kind of ran out of the questions here, and I just want to make sure, is there anybody else have any questions for any one of us here, Dan or Ron or myself. And if not, we'll call it an evening. But I just wanted to do this live stream and see if we could kind of help people understand a little bit more about the Equinox. And we're all, we learn all the time. I'm still learning things here and there about the Equinox and different settings and trying different things. Don't be afraid to try things, you guys. And you're not going to hurt it. And
You never stop learning.
What's that?
You never stop learning.
Not at all. You're always looking for a better way to do better than the last guy did, because you want to find what they left behind.
Yeah, I want to go find that Larry left when I go out detecting out there.
Yeah. Oh. When am I coming to Tulsa? I'll tell you what, I'm ready. Okay, so we got
that must be John.
That's John with Red Dirt Treasure Hunters, and they have the Red Dirt Treasure shootout they had up in Oklahoma last year, and it's planned again this year. I'm not exactly sure. Hang on just a second. Let me do this.
While Larry's doing that, I'll answer that next question. There's not a difference between having your coil cover on there or not. You're better to have it on there so you don't ruin your coil.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, just make sure you keep every now and then take that coil cover off and clean out all the fine material that gets under it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Larry actually has a good video on that. Shows take that off.
Ricky Nelson, thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat there. Ricky, I need you to send me an email to sodbustersmetaldetecting@gmail.com. Tonight, everybody that's given a super chat, I want them to contact me so I can get their information, and actually we can make contact on the phone or something and do a one-on-one to answer any questions you have about the Equinox or something like that. So if you can send me an email to Sodbusters Metal Detecting, then we'll set up a time to make contact there. And I appreciate that super chat, Ricky.
And while Larry's writing that down, I'm going to answer another question that's up here, because I am a Deus hunter. I use it quite a lot along with my Knox. You can't compare a machine that has not come out yet, because the only thing you've got to go off is advertising and people out of Europe, and they don't hunt the same way we do. So until the Deus 2 comes out, you can't compare it to what a Knox does. And plus it costs about twice as much money.
Hey, John, I just posted a link. I think I did, didn't I? Yeah, that StreamYard link up there. Click on that link. I want to bring you on here if you want to, I'm not telling you to. I'm asking you if you want to. But see if we can get a little bit of information about the upcoming event. But so here's somebody that's got the fold and go, Charles Brassard. He says, leave a link to the fold and go. I'll tell you what, let's see.
I should probably mention, Larry, fold and goes are sold out at the moment, and I'm waiting on some of the supplies. I've been waiting for a few months now. I don't unfortunately have an ETA at the moment on those supplies for parts. As soon as I get them, they'll be back on the website for the Equinox. I have it available in 2 versions. One is kind of a do-it-yourself kit. The other, I offer a fully installed kit where you get a brand new Minelab middle shaft, and I install the kit for you. So then you just simply swap out that whole middle shaft and you're ready to go. But again, I don't have an ETA on that. As soon as it is available, I will put that on the website.
Okay. So John, he's not feeling too well right now, so he's not coming on, but we'll get some information about the upcoming event later on. Rodney Castleman, what is the best accessories for the Equinox? I'll tell you one thing that I would recommend. I've got one right here, and you can get these at Outlaw Metal Detectors, but it's just a cover to go over the head of your metal detector. This is just like a plastic, very durable plastic. I don't know what that would be considered, but it's also got a nylon backing to it. Fits on there perfect. Keeps your screen from getting scratched up and dirty and everything. So if you're going to invest in a machine like this, protect
Any machine.
any machine, you want to protect it. So I would recommend to get one of these covers. You'll find them on outlawmetaldetectors.com. What else?
Actually, Larry, I don't think those have been listed on the website yet.
Okay.
I just got those recently, and I'm having some issues with the website I'm trying to work out before I keep adding more and more products. I do have them in stock. I've got several in stock ready to ship. I just don't have them on the website because of those issues I'm trying to work out. It's a couple of things where I may actually have to switch vendors on my my website service, but I'm hoping it didn't get to that point. But I'm trying to get them worked out.
Yeah.
Looks like Ron's doing a show and tell on something.
Yep. I think he's showing what I'm showing too.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
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 It's the cuff protector. So that'll protect your cuff. It's actually real comfortable too. Put these on there. It's a lot more comfortable to wear. But the original the padding, or I don't know, the cushion that they put in there
Will wear
over
out.
time will wear out, and then it's just nothing but plastic or tattered, padding down there. So these protectors for the cuff protectors are real nice.
Since he was asking about accessories, something else that a lot of guys will use if you're not real good on keeping up the maintenance on your machine and checking those rubber washers and make sure they're not worn out, or you may have a tendency to over tighten your bolt, we have the coil protectors. We've got them for the 6-inch, the 11-inch, and the 15-inch Minelab coils. We only had orange and green was the only two colors we had until just this last week. We got black ones in for the 11-inch only, which black definitely blends in better on a Minelab machine than orange or green. So we do have those available in stock now. The black ones aren't on the website yet. The green and orange ones are. If you want a black one, just give me a call or send me an email. And also, one of the other issues with the website was if you're looking for these little items, you start adding those to your cart, it's supposed to only charge a small amount of shipping for small items. But for some reason, it's been stacking. So if it's $4 shipping for this item and $4 for the next and $4 for the next and so on, the website is stacking that, and it's silly to pay $30 shipping for something I can put in a small box for you. So if you see that happening, please email me or please call me. Or if you want, go ahead and put the order in, and then I will refund the difference. So if it ended up charging you $30 or shipping or something, and it only costs $6 to ship, I will refund that difference back to you. That's happened a few times, and I've even done that for customers that may not have even been aware that that was an issue. They ordered some snake skins, coil, the coil wire covers. I had a guy order 2 of them, and it charged him $8. It should have only been $4. So I refunded that back both times, and I never heard of, if they were aware of it or not, but hopefully they saw that.
Yeah. So Thomas Cohen says, I have both the Coil Tech and Minelab 15-inch, and they give me about 1 to 2 inches deeper than my 11-inch. This is from testing in my test garden where I have about 17 targets buried in 6-inch to 12-inch depth. So you're finding that the 15 inches giving you about 2 inches increase, 1 to 2 inches of increase on compared to the 11-inch coil, huh?
That's about right, because you're only going to get so deep with these machines anyway, and your coil size increase can only go so far. And just because you put on a 15-inch coil, don't mean you're going to get 2 foot on a target unless it's a pure target and a big one. And a lot of these people, what they measure, their measuring sticks a little bit off.
You notice that?
Well,
And,
All my
that may
targets are 40 inches.
change if he changed the material in his test bed. He goes from the dirt he has there at the house, brings in dirt from somewhere else. That could change his readings as well.
Mm-hmm. You bet. Yeah, different mineralization and stuff. So
your bigger coils are made to go deeper, but they're made to be in clean ground, so you can do that.
Yeah.
And just like I've run that little 6-inch coil, and I found stuff just as deep with that as I would with 11. But that was because of where I'm hunting.
So Shelly says here that I had a tip in a video, which I did. The tip was when you put your screen protectors on, you get a package of screen protectors that are in different languages. What I did is I took and I cut the menu or the lettering, what you can read. Of course, I'm reading English. I cut the English black tab off the bottom of that screen protector. I put that on my detector and I put the screen protector on. And then I cut all the black tabs off of all the other languages. So when this screen protector gets scratched up or damaged somehow, I can peel that one off and I've got an extra screen protector. But I still have the English language here because you only get one language, one of your language, whatever you speak or read in that package, but you have a lot of screen protectors. So in order to salvage those screen protectors, because if you go and you buy specific, I think they come in a pack of 3 or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember now, but if you order a pack of screen protectors in the English language, then it's going to be fairly costly when you have all these other screen protectors you can use. So that's just kind of a saving tip in that video that Shelly's talking about.
I seen one thing that I just thought of because mine wanders a lot. How do you clean your metal detector? Do you put any kind of stuff on it other than water to keep it clean and nice and shiny and work better?
Myself?
Yep.
No, I usually just rinse it off. If anything, I will take one of those magic eraser sponges to knock off some of the
dirt and grime. After I clean that, I use Pledge on mine.
Pledge?
I pledge my whole machine.
Oh, really?
Protect it from scratching and keep some of the dirt off, helps some of the stuff don't stick to it, and it also makes it look a lot nicer. And in certain conditions, it'll help you slide a little bit till it wears off a little nicer in certain places. But I always put Pledge on my machines. It keeps them looking better. Because sometimes you might want to go trade it in today, and if you got one that looks like crap, you ain't gonna get as much money for it as if you put on your screen covers and your head protectors like you got there, and take care of your machines.
Yeah, you bet. That's an investment.
Well, when you look at a $7,000 gold machine and they won't buy $100 cover for it, you just shake your head.
Yeah.
I've never had that problem. My machines are new. They get everything on them before they ever go out of the house, or they don't go out.
You bet. All right. What am I missing? Have I missed something here? Or
not that I've seen, Larry.
Well, you guys, if you haven't subscribed, hop on over to Sodbusters Metal Detecting here, and well, you're already there, but just down below, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon. That way you get notifications when I upload a new video. There was a question in here that I seen. I didn't pull it up yet because I was answering another one, but It was a question for Dan if he delivers to Canada, and he's not able to do that, but I'll let Dan answer that.
So you need something in Canada, eh? Unfortunately, by manufacturer's policy, I can only sell to customers in the U.S. So no, for an Equinox or any Minelab product, I cannot sell to Canada. The only items that I can sell to Canada are some of the accessory items, especially the ones that I'm the actual manufacturer, like the fold and go kit that we talked about earlier. I have a couple of products I make for Garrett, AT Max, AT Pro, AT Gold. I can sell those to Canada. And then there's a few other accessories and things that I could, but when you're talking about the shipping and the customs and everything else, especially with the things going on these days, I don't recommend it. I highly recommend finding something in your country, because I've had customers that have had customs issues where, they're like, hey, where's my stuff? And it was literally about 3 months till the customs released it to them. So they were upset at me, but there was nothing I could do. It's out of my hands. Once I drop it at the post office, then it gets to their country. Their country, has different rules and regulations, in these times, with COVID and everything. So some of these things get set on, and you just never know when you're going to get it.
One question for you, Dan. Do you sell shovels? Because there was people asking about shovels. I have a friend I like, but I don't know if you do or not.
I sell shovels. I sell beach scoops. I've got a pretty good variety of both. A lot of people use the big box store type shovels and everything, and they get by with them. I've actually had customers show up with those that broke those in half. Not the handle, not the wood handle, but the actual metal blade. Your digging tools are just as important as your detector. Good quality tools. Lesh or Lachey, however you want to pronounce it, is a good brand. Unfortunately, they've been very limited this year. I went for probably about 7 months or longer and was not able to get any new. The popular shovel is the one Larry uses, the Lesh Samson. I finally got some in here about a week and a half ago, and I only got 4 of them. I've got many times more of that on order, but they only got a small order in. I ended up with 4 of them. I have 1 left. The Anaconda or ATC shovels are pretty decent. They're American made, heavy duty. Biggest complaint I hear on them is they're just heavy. You compare that to a Lesh, it's about a pound and a quarter difference, which may not sound like a lot, but carry that around for 6-7 hours, you're going to notice it. Garrett has a new shovel out. It's actually not too bad. It is made overseas, unfortunately, but it's pretty well built. And any of these shovels, you got to remember, number one, it is a shovel. It's not a pry bar. You don't want to go try to start prying up railroad tracks and railroad spikes with it. If you're pretty good size, you start putting your weight in it, you can bend these things. And that's true regardless of the brand. There are 2 other brands that I don't mind mentioning. Unfortunately, I cannot carry them. One has an exclusive contract with a big dealer that whose name we do not speak. The other is Predator Tools. Predator Tools and Lesh or Lachey, they were the same company. It was a brother sister company. They had their differences, I guess, and they split. So George, the brother, is now Predator Tools, and he kind of markets and caters more to us metal detecting guys, which is awesome. I love his stuff, and he's got a bigger variety of lengths, blade styles, etc., handles, everything for detectorists than any brand out there.
And length is a big thing when you buy a shovel too. I don't mean to interrupt you there, but that's a big thing. People get that little short ones, and then you got to haul it around. I use mine for a cane all the time. Works great.
Yeah. One thing I really love about the Predators is several of their models, the footstep is wide enough where they actually put holes in it, and you can mount rubber pads to the footholds. So you got a little cushion there for when you're digging. You don't end up bruising the bottom of your foot when you're wearing tennis shoes and that kind of thing. So, in my opinion, honestly, I think Predator is probably the best shovels you can get. They are a little pricier. You do have to order them direct, but they're extremely good product. The Garretts are pretty good. The ATCs are good. The Lesh are good. So we carry all those. There are a couple other brands I have a small quantity of that I don't even recommend. So I don't even think they're worth mentioning here. I just know them to bend and break too easily. So I don't even see the point of wasting anyone's time talking about those. And I don't want to name bash, so I'm not going to mention the brands. So I'll just leave it at that. If you stick with a Garrett, ATC, or the Lesh, Predator, those are all good products. And Gravediggers are pretty good. They're American made as well. They're a little different. They use a lot of square tubing instead of round tubing. And they're definitely heavy. But most of the feedback I've had on Gravediggers that I see from other users, they seem to like them pretty well too.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dan's, he's correct. I mean, when it comes to your digging tools, you don't want to try and, pinch pennies on those, because what happens is you may go to, let's say you go to a hardware store and you say, you know what, this garden tool is going to do just fine. They dig all the time with those. And the problem is, and I'm talking from experience, you go and you get those and you go out metal detecting, and the first trip out, snap or bend or something, and all of a sudden you've just spent maybe $15 on a tool that wasn't meant for the job you're doing, really. So you're out that $15, and now you have to go and spend extra money to go and get a proper tool. So now you've created a higher expense than if you would have bought the proper tool originally. So really, you guys, this is going to be a hobby that you're going to be doing for years. Get the products that are going to last you for years, and you'll be a lot happier. Be a lot less frustration. So we got Dennis Thomas. He says, my question is out of the box. How do you charge your 800, or how long do you charge your 800? Dennis, what I would do is when you get it, just plug it in at night and let it sit overnight, and then in the morning it'll be ready to go. So, well, you don't like that, Dan?
No.
No.
Here's the reason why. Leaving almost any battery on charge too long can degrade the life of that battery. So let's say if in perfect conditions, if a battery was going to last 10 years and you just leave it on a charger so much, it may degrade it, a year, 2 years. I mean, it's just hard to say.
Just like your vehicle.
And also, the Equinox and almost every detector made now does not include a charger. They include a charge cable, and then you supply the charger. Minelab, they right in the box, it gives you a little instruction sheet on the type of charger to use, the recommended amperage, and so on. Stay away from your $5, gas station USB chargers. Stick with a good quality brand name charger, from a cell phone company, a Samsung, an LG, an iPhone, anything like that. Those should be fine. And some of those are as low as maybe half an amp on the output. Some of them are up to about 2 amps. It's not a good idea to go over that. But you want a good quality charger and one that has an automatic cutoff circuitry built in. If you use a really cheap charger, or if you just leave it on a high amp charger too long, you may degrade the battery of it may degrade the life of your battery over time. It's kind of hard to prove out because Equinox hasn't been out 10 years yet, but it's just something about, knowing battery,
down.
a lot of things.
Yeah,
It's just like putting on your car battery and you put a charger on it and leave it set. It'll cook it dry. It's the same principle as what Dan is saying. Pull it off.
A fully discharged Equinox, when the battery's all the way down, on an average charger that's putting out about 1 amps, I think it only takes, 3 hours to fully charge, if I remember right. I may be thinking of a different machine. But one thing you could do is plug it in, and if you want to go to bed at night, that's the best time to charge it. Get you one of those timers that you plug in the wall. So plug your charger into that timer, set it for 3 hours, and then after 3 hours it turns off, and you're fine.
good advice. See you guys, I learn something new every day too.
We're teaming up on you.
What's that?
Tearing up his batteries because he tears one up, he's just going to buy a new one.
Who's that? Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. All that pocket change I find out there. So, but, all right. Unplug when it turns solid green. Yeah. A lot of times, I don't know. I'm guilty of plugging it in at night before I'm going to go on a hunt, and then in the morning I grab it and out I go. So
yeah, I'll complain to all the detector guys out there that make these things. I'm colorblind. I can't see them damn red and green lights.
Okay, let's see. And those batteries, I mean, I've hunted 10-hour days and still have charge on those batteries, I've never had an issue as far as that goes. It's a good long-lasting battery. And then they have, I guess, if you're going to go camping, and I've got a external one of those battery chargers, I think Patriot battery chargers, and I can plug in my Equinox and have it charged that way if I'm going to be out camping and detecting for a couple of days or something like that. You got an external battery pack there?
Yep. Worked great. I actually hooked it on my machine, just left it plugged in when I was running my batteries that long.
And then Minelab has the battery, the external battery pack that goes right under the arm cuff. Attaches there too. So there's different methods you can use and stuff, but yeah, anyway. All right. So what do we got? Am I missing anybody? Can you change out the batteries on the wireless headphones that come with your Equinox? I don't know.
I've done it. Let's see. Kind of a hard question to answer. Is it a plug and play thing? No. It involved cutting the old battery out and soldering in the new battery. If that's a skill you have and you can do that, the batteries are really cheap. I got a replacement battery online for, it was only like $2 or $3, and it worked fine. But whether you want to try that yourself or not, that I would just say that depends on your skills.
Yeah, and also you'll want to consider your warranty too, because I don't know if how long the warranty is. It's probably a year warranty on that. Is that right, Dan? Maybe.
On the headphones, I think the headphones are 2 years.
Oh, are they?
It's 3. I haven't had that come up, so I would actually have to look that up to be honest with you.
Yeah, check your warranty on it before you do anything like that, because if it's under warranty, you might be able to just send it into Minelab and get it changed out or whatever and have them send it back to you. But as soon as you start messing around, you're going to void the warranty. So if it's out of warranty, then it's fair game, but I wouldn't do that if it's under warranty.
Also, if it's out of warranty, there's a lot of other brands of headphones that will pair to the Knox just fine. Like I mentioned earlier, the ones I use are about a third of the weight, and they don't completely cover your ears, which I really like here for the summer when it's hot. I don't want that cover completely around my ears, making me sweat more than I need to. So these lightweight ones, they just rest on your ears. It's the old foam padding, kind of like on the old 1980s Walkman type headphones, and it works great. I really like them a lot.
Yeah. Detect Arizona asks if there's foam in the headphone cups. It's not really a foam, I don't think. I don't know what material that is.
There's foam inside. Oh, it's overlaid with vinyl.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. It isn't very much, but it's padding.
Yeah. They're pretty comfortable, actually.
I use them all the time.
Yep, I use them every time I turn that machine on.
And that's another question. Nobody asked these type of things that I've seen here. Do you hunt without headphones? Or do you use them all the time? And should you or should you not?
The only time I use headphones is if I'm doing a demo with a customer. That way they can hear the tone, I can hear the tone. But if I'm actually out hunting, I have the headphones on.
And see, a lot of people don't use them because they don't like them. They think they're missing targets because they're not paying attention. What I found out over the years of doing this and teaching people, you'll get distracted listening to your coil, hitting on things on the ground, rather than paying attention to your signals. And once you get your headphones on, everything has to be heard. Your total concentration all the time is on what you're hearing and what you're doing. Now, if you're listening to something, you want to hear what it's sending you, not what your coil's doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of distractions out there. It could be wind, it could be anything.
Or some guy like me talking to you while you're trying to detect.
Yeah, I've had people do that too. You want to talk rather than detect. But
if you're at the beach, you definitely want headphones because people will walk up to you all day long. Did you find anything good yet? What'd you find so far?
Yep.
Gold.
See, you look like a guy somebody wants to talk to. They don't bother me.
Oh man. So Dennis Thomas says, I've read several times it saves your battery by using headphones. Yeah, I don't know.
It might a little bit. You're not driving a speaker, but I don't know. I've never seen it being it.
Let's see here. Oh, I had one up there. I just didn't answer it. It was about earbuds. Not sure where that was. Somebody was saying that they plugged the earbuds into their module to use those, and I haven't tried that, but I think that would be a good thing to do, like in the summer months when it gets so hot.
Yeah, there are a lot of earbuds that will work wirelessly as well. If you're looking at headphones or earbuds that will pair with the Minelab, I know there's been a lot of places out there online where guys say, well, I use, brand XYZ, model number, ABC. But if you're unsure if it's going to work or not, look for a specification on there that says aptX low latency. And a lot of times it won't be directly on the package. You may actually have to go to the manufacturer website and their detailed specifications to see if it has that feature or not. But if it says low latency, you've got a really good chance that they will work with the Minelab or with the Equinox. And that's also true of the Vanquish 540. It has the Bluetooth function, and you can do the same thing with it.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm going to plug another detector, brand, because the guy's asking that question. They want to know whether anybody's going to produce a pinpointer that works with your Bluetooth. Well, yes, there is one that's out there. It's just not this brand. XT makes one, because I use that one all the time. And
Yeah,
I think there's a couple of them, isn't there?
that's the only one
Yeah.
I know of. You don't have to take off. It pairs right with your stuff. When you turn it on, it shuts off your machine. So
Yeah, Garrett, but it only works with Garrett products. They got their proprietary Bluetooth they call a Z-Link. Nocta Macro has one, but it's proprietary as well. I know Nocta Macro is working on a new pinpointer. I don't know anything else about it. I just know they have a new one in the works. The new Nocta Macro Legend is supposed to be a non-proprietary Bluetooth, similar to the Equinox. So it'll probably be able to use maybe other pinpointers and definitely other headphones. And then, like Ron mentioned, XP, the MI6 pinpointer has a Bluetooth function. I've never tried that, the MI6 with the Equinox.
I don't know if it'll pair with the Equinox, and I use it with my Deus. I've never tried it on the Nox.
I don't know if the XP's is proprietary or not. I don't deal with a lot of XP stuff. It's just I don't get a lot of requests for it here, so I'm not as familiar with it.
I was just answering the question that, yeah, somebody does it. So if they can be made if somebody just does it. To work on any of these, if somebody just does the right thing and it's not blocked so they can't get to it.
I've used those functions before when I've tried other machines like the Garrett AT Max and the Nocta Macro products. I found that it didn't seem to be that big of a benefit to me because as soon as you would turn the pinpointer on and its Bluetooth links to your headphones, it stops the signal from the detector.
Yep.
So you're only hearing what's the pinpointer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get your pinpointer and then you need to run your detector over it, and your pin turned on, you don't have that. You're not gonna have anything in your headphones until you turn it on.
Oh, they're swinging on machines that dead. Can't hear nothing. How come? Only a spare shut these on.
Yeah, and I found got to where I just wouldn't use it. And with one of those detectors, it seemed like if you're out for a good 6 to 8 hour hunt that day, I had to shut all three items off: the headphones, the pinpointer, and the detector, and go back through the pairing procedure on all three to get my Bluetooth to work at all again. So it was killing my day. Take all that time out and try to remember how to pair all three of them back up in a pinch. It took me 10, 15 minutes to do that where I should have been hunting. Instead,
with my Nox not keeping paired with my headphones. And I know there's a lot of people that have trouble with that.
The only time I've had trouble with that is there's a way, and I've got a video on this, where you pair your headphones to your Equinox, but you can also pair your phone to your headphones. So when you get a phone call come in, it will come in through your headphones. And so when that happens, that's when I lose connection with my detector and I have to push the button to, reset it. But
mine has done that, just turning it off and on. It hasn't done it in a long time because now I have a process I always just do. I shut off my headphones first and then I shut the machine off. And I've never had any problems since then. But when I first got, I've had several different Noxes. But when I first got the Nox, when they first came out, I had a lot of issues with it. It didn't matter what I did, it would unpair for my headphones. But I haven't had that trouble lately.
So
since headphones
says in the summer, wearing headphones being hot, do they have lighter headphones? You can use whatever preferred headphones you want with that WM08 module. You can plug in a wired set of headphones, or you can use the earbuds like we were discussing earlier. There's different options for you.
Yeah, there's other brands of headphones that work well. And since we're talking about headphones here, a problem I hear a lot from customers is they'll mention they have pairing problems, or it'll unpair when they're using their detector, or they're just out and they start getting strange reactions and signals and things. A lot of times it's when they put their cell phone in their front pocket. I like to leave my cell phone in the truck if at all possible. But if you got your cell phone in your front pocket, you're going to get some stray issues, from time to time, either with the headphones, or it may interfere with the detector itself as well.
Mm-hmm.
EMI will come out of it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So, Shelly says that she uses when she uses the Garrett pinpointer, she don't take her headphones off. She either slips part of one ear off or uses the vibrate mode. Yep. I think that's I do that too. Just take off one ear and so I can hear what's going on. Right. All right, you guys. Well, looks like things have kind of slowed down here, and I appreciate all of you guys showing up here. And again, just so you know, Outlaw Metal Detectors, I'll post that link again here, Control C, and I'll put that down here in the chat in case you guys need any products from Outlaw Metal Detectors there. There's that. Let's see here. Got another link for you here. Let me ooh, that was weird. Okay, and you guys, if you feel like supporting the channel, I've got Sodbusters metal detecting merch that I just posted down there. There's a link to my store, and I've got different varieties and stuff like that. So if you're wanting any Sodbusters metal detecting hats or anything, you'll have to email sodbustersmetaldetecting@gmail.com. And also, you guys, let me put this one out there for you. Let's see here. You guys can get a hold of me pretty much anytime at, there it goes. Let's see. Yeah, there's a Sodbusters Metal Detecting Facebook group. And there, we have a very, it's a real peaceful group. And you get a lot of good posts in there. People can post their finds and their videos and stuff like that. The only thing I ask is that you guys, you'll see the rules, but there's not many. Basically, I don't allow advertising in there, and just keep it polite and peaceful. But anyway, we appreciate you guys joining us here on the live stream, and I hope that somebody got something out of this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out because I'm always happy to help. And but we just wish you a full treasure chest in your future hunts here. So, and Ron, I appreciate you coming on here and giving your advice here. And
my advice, I got a lot of opinions.
Well, they're good ones though. Dan, he's Ron's done a lot of detecting over the years, gold and relics and coins, all kinds of stuff. So he's got a lot of knowledge there, and Dan as well. And I appreciate you showing up, Dan, and giving us the information about outlaw metal detectors. But, all right, so. Anyway, you guys, we're going to go ahead and call it an evening here. Somebody said, yeah, I did. I took my detector back to the 2.0 rather than the 3.0. I just had some issues that I preferred the 2.0 better. Some people are having really good luck with the 3.0 update. It just wasn't for me, so I don't know. I reverted back to the 2.0 after doing some tests with it and everything, and that's where I've stayed. So
I'm not using the 3 either.
You're what?
I'm not using the 3 either.
You're using 2.0? Yeah. So anyway, you guys, thanks again, and appreciate y'all showing up, and we'll see you next Friday.
Thanks for having me too.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Dan.
What? Nice
to meet you. Have a good night, guys.
What are you talking?
You too. All right, you guys, you all sleep well, and we'll see you next Friday.